Welcome to QUESS Presents 9th edition of the Global Capability Centers GCC Summit 2025, brought to you by ET Edge. Our theme this year is Purpose, Progress and Performance, which truly reflects the evolving role of global capability centers as they shift from being support engines to strategic innovators, where operational excellence meets digital transformation and global talent fuels future-ready enterprises. We would first like to begin with our signature talk. Ladies and gentlemen, it's on the AI-first GCCs, embedding intelligence into the enterprise.
2047, what do we aspire to become? Viksit Bharat. What is Viksit Bharat? Developed nation. Where are we today? Developing nation. What's the index of per capita GDP for a developing nation? $2,700. So each Indian, total GDP divided by total number of Indians, $2,700 US. However, the people who are associated with GCCs are already at 14,000 US. So where India will be in 2047 as Viksit Bharat, GCCs and people associated with GCCs are almost nearly there. So that's the impact to society, that's the impact to consumption, that's the impact all of you create. So it's great to be here at the ET Edge event. This is my first time at a GCC event for ET, your ninth. But what I've noticed is that you've gathered the who's who as far as Telangana region is concerned, as far as GCC is concerned. Almost 220 people have registered today. I've had a chance to meet at least 20 of them already so far. And many of them are talking about what their organization has already achieved and what their organization wants to do next. You know, GCC started almost 30 years ago. When they came to India, they came primarily for cost arbitrage. The difference with the US wage was almost 13 times. Today, that wage differentiation has come down to about 3.5 times. But what has changed in this 30 years is we used to do transactions, lots and lots of them, millions of them. Now we do transformation. The next 5 years, we think is going to be towards product development and IPR. 1.9 million people actually take home wages of almost $27 billion a year. They almost average at about 14,500 US per annum, which almost is equivalent to where we want to be in 2047 for the whole nation. So they are already seeing what 2047 might look like in terms of Viksit Bharat. Now, coming back to your question, what we've noticed in the last couple of years is that cybersecurity, AI skills, generative AI, machine learning, cloud computing, these are the areas where against the conventional, which used to be coding and UI, UX, this has started to take a center stage.
Coming up, ladies and gentlemen, is our first panel discussion, which is all about leading at that intersection of people, technology, policy, and transformation.
Just want to understand from you about what, from the AI context you do, how are you helping to bridge this gap from your organization perspective? We didn't have to start with, hey, first do the low-hanging fruits, prove your value, and then we'll see whether we want to give you something else, etc. I would say the ecosystem in Hyderabad made us deliver that. So when I hosted our CIO, our CFO, our global head of studios here, when they went around and saw the kind of work which was happening, everybody went back to fundamentally relook at the broader operating model in which they were delivering their services. Everybody in the firm was aligned with the fact that yes, Hyderabad or India can deliver value, and we go from there.
India produces almost 2.5 million STEM graduates every year, 1.5 million fresh engineers every year. So the supply chain is enough, but we have to build the ecosystem. You have government initiative, you have ELI scheme, PLI scheme coming up, and you know, with all together combination, I think that problem can be easily solved.
GCCs have had a great run in India. We have about 1,900 odd companies operating out of India, and this is expected to go to nearly 5,000 or probably even more. We have an employment of 2.2 million, expected to go to 4.5 to 5 million in the next 5 years. But what brought us here was the wave of cost arbitrage, was the wave of consolidating platforms, was the wave of services. The future of GCCs is going to be design. It is going to be enabling, putting technology into products, accelerating digital and accelerating technology adoption across domains of AI and all the aspects of product design and technology powering product design. ER&D is going to take center stage in terms of what GCCs will offer. I think the services sector is relatively mature and will carry on, and the skills required to deliver that will carry on. But the ER&D sector, which is already about 47% of all GCCs, is going to rapidly rise.
Coming up next is all about accelerating AI advantage, unlocking that enterprise value from India's GCC. Ladies and gentlemen, could we have a huge round of applause as I invite on stage Mr. Sandeep Datta.
What do you need to do to make sure that this whole AI wave is actually translating to something beneficial for your enterprise also? First, reimagine every business process with AI. Like it or not, that's where the world is going. So the sooner you do it, the better. Design it with adoption in mind. You have to design robust, responsible AI solutions. There is a great benefit to be had, but there is also a great downside if you're not careful. And last, reskill and reshape for the future. Clearly, I think the skills in demand are shifting towards data and AI a lot. Those are the hottest skills. Many large companies are trying to now build AI COE centers within the GCCs. And I think this will continue for the next couple of years, but more and more, the need will move towards being deeper into an area, either in a business process or in a very specific technology area, because many of the more generic parts will start getting done by AI agents. I think it's a very strong now belief in what India and Indian GCCs can deliver. For many years, it was more about getting the scale and getting the cost advantage, and more it is about owning the entire process. And I think now the shift is creating those kind of products out of India that they can then scale to the larger enterprise globally. I think that's the opportunity ahead.
We'll now be moving forward to our next panel discussion, which is all about the Life Sciences Lab next door. That is, are the GCCs the new growth hormone?
What has been the conversation with your global headquarters from a cost saving to the innovation ownership? So any thoughts on that?
Amgen has come with the mindset of putting technology and innovation in India, fundamentally. This period is very special because a lot of these capabilities have already landed, including disruptive technologies and the possibilities of what we can do with data, with our talent, etc.
There's deliver, innovation, transform, and patient. So we set up the capability center in such a way that it is at par from a capability perspective to what you deliver across any location in the world. And we measure to whatever is the company's KPI, right? Because there is no two different companies within a company.
It is not a pilot or an experiment. It's a long-term commitment. And that's something that we make sure that they realize, and not just they realize, meaning the C-suite, but the business leads, the functional leads, and also the consumers who are going to work with the capability center, that they're all on the same page with respect to it's a long-term commitment and it's a strategic center that is part of the one firm.
You know, there's an element of strategic alignment with headquarters or corporate with local autonomy on execution. And so there's a fine balance that we need to achieve there as well. And maybe what I like to say is today we look at things of outside the US and inside the US. I think we need to change that to within India and outside of India. And I think those are the kind of what I see as the next 3 to 5 years, benchmarks or tests. Are we moving and shifting the paradigm a bit?
With that, we move quickly to the next panel discussion, ladies and gentlemen, which is all about the Tech Mandate 2030. That's what we're looking at, where there's AI, there's platforms, and the next-gen architecture from India's GCC.
In your shoes, how do you truly get the potential of India to drive this brand relevance and being a true innovator and architect from India towards this brand?
One of the things which you see is that, GCCs or the service providers started from a cost, innovation, change, transformation. But if you see, at least in my industry, what I'm seeing across the board is that it's now a necessity, right? To have a GCC or a presence in India. And that talks about not just about any one of those, but all of those factors.
60 to 65% of AI talent, worldwide AI talent, will be from India by 2030. So with that kind of talent density, I think the questions to ask is, what kind of future will we architect for India and for the world? Will we build an inclusive world with our AI? Will we build a bias-free world? So those are the questions really for us to address.
Imagine if you are employing about 2 million workers and you have 200 applications running people function and moving it to one single people platform. That's what we are doing as we speak. So everywhere, the transformation and innovation is in the DNA of the company. Now the power is shifting to the east, where India is at the helm and center of this transformation and innovation that is happening at McDonald's.
So what we did is, as an organization, we adopted, bringing green power to our data centers. Today, I can proudly say that compared to any other data center service provider in India, we have more than 40% of the data center which is fed through the green energy. I think this is what is going to drive the digital growth story of our country and the GCCs in the coming days.
All right, so with that, let me invite on stage, ladies and gentlemen, we have with us the EVP of Head of Global Business from Sybase Software, Mr. Prasad Vashikar, who's joining us today to share his thoughts on reimagining global capability centers that are faster, smarter, and scalable.
Imagine that, okay, you would like to have a GCC scaled up in the next 90 days, or set up a complete new GCCs in the 90 days in any location, be it only not in Pune, Hyderabad, Gandhinagar, but any location. That could be done with a flexibility, ownership, and creativity from our side of it. Now, that is the power which we would like to bring in and make sure that, okay, this journey is becoming faster, smarter, and agile for all of us, so that your growth is continuous and we contribute into that journey.
Global capability centers in India are at a critical inflection point. To stay competitive on the world stage over the next 5 years, the boldest shift they must make is to have evolved from being focused on cost versus strategic innovation powerhouses. The future belongs to those who can perform seamlessly, combine the innovation with operational excellence. To make this leap, GCCs must aggressively upskill their talent pool as well as emerging technologies, to embrace the agile and entrepreneurial mindset, as well as anchor the efforts around the measurable business impacts which they can drive and deliver. By leveraging their complementary strengths, the GCCs and IT service players actually can combine and survive, but actually effectively they can thrive also. And that is where it is going to drive India's leadership into the global digital economy.
Up next, a panel discussion explored decoding tax and compliance for GCCs in India, navigating risk, regulation, and reform. Let's take a look.
One of the things which, under the GIFT City, what they've done is that it's, zero taxation. There's no taxation for companies set up over there. Would you suggest, therefore, under this national framework, the government starts looking at providing, a tax holiday like they did to accelerate the manufacturing industry somewhere in 2019?
Absolutely, actually. So that is a very good leverage for companies, global companies, to select India as the basis, because that is an upfront benefit which the companies will get, which the companies can reinvest again in their infrastructure or the resources. So that will be really a good thing to include in the national framework.
As companies look to set up a GCC in India, what would your advice be to them on the litigation on the cost plus margins?
One of the best approach what GCCs are taking, and if not, I think are the APAs. So the negotiations while upfront agreement, right, and which at least gives you a clarity for 5 years, right? In bilateral, it might take a long, but it's still, at least both the sides, it's very clear. Unilaterals are also happening very well, right? And that gives you a certainty at least for next 5 years, right?
And after that, the percentages really do not matter, whether it's 15 or 17 or 18, right? Until unless both the countries has agreed at a government level, it's a very seamless thing, right? And I think that's a need of an hour.
All right, so with that, I think the conversations will continue. We move forward, ladies and gentlemen. And now the next conversation is all about risk management and business continuity. And we're looking at the GCCs at the forefront of global agility.
If I talk about AI, do you see that as a risk? But when I say, do you see AI as a risk, how are you leveraging that, to your benefit?
From an Uber standpoint, if I take GBS or a GCC setup out, as an Uber employee, we are given access to all the latest and greatest in the AI, the tools that we currently have, and we are encouraged to use them, get use cases, especially on the finance side, etc., right? And say, so for us right now, I think it's not a risk because you're getting a lot of exposure, right? I am getting a lot of exposure to play around with those tools, to de-risk things, work with our technology teams, to work on use cases, etc.
Next up, a powerful panel examined infrastructure for impact, aligning GCC growth with real estate innovation and net zero goals.
What does the future look like, right? And is sustainability, is ESG, net zero only driven by global goals, global requirements?
Culture eats strategy for breakfast.
Right.
Have we developed the culture amongst our employees that they are responsible towards the communities around the office, around their workspace, around where they stay? Are they contributing towards a certain amount of no plastic? Are they contributing towards just keeping the lights out when they're not in office?
Sure.
So that basic culture is something which we are very, very focused on developing.
I think now the thought process has to change.
Right.
And I think even the designs and the kind of atmosphere, what the ecosystem they have to create is, they have to make a smart infrastructure and the integration has to really work.
Sure.
So that it will help them to bring back to the office.
I think in the long term, sustainability and innovation delivers a triple win. One for GCCs, to the real estate industry, and third, of course, the planet itself. Green certified and net zero ready campuses command better rentals and valuations. So landlords and your developers benefit directly.
In the B2B context, there's a lot of adoption. But at the personal level, I think it is being acknowledged. Like there would have been a time when people wouldn't even know.
Right.
But I think it is being understood and acknowledged. But I don't think there is a very specific, I want an EV or I want to go by pooled unless it is comfort. So comfort is way more supreme compared to sustainability at the moment. There's a lot more education required.
Now that India has firmly established its position as the leader in GCCs, the question in all GCC leaders' mind is quite simple. How do I find that reliable partner, pan-India, who can take care of our needs across and offer us not only space, but speed and cost efficiency? Here is where SmartWork emerges as India's largest managed campus platform. And today, with our new product, Smart Vantage, which is specifically curated for the growth journey of GCCs, is well poised to take advantage of this opportunity and provide our clients solutions built on three pillars: space, speed, and support. SmartWork today offers a very consultative approach towards GCCs, and through our partner network across India, whether it's legal, compliance, taxation, we have it all covered for you through this network. When it comes to space, SmartWorks has been renowned for managing large campuses across the country. Our over 500,000 square foot campuses today come with aspirational amenities, which today provide you global workplace experience, which the global peer would have found in their own country. And all of this is bundled together in speed. We are able to deliver your spaces in less than 60 days at a cost competitive advantage. Think of us as the runway, which not only facilitates your landing, but ensures your takeoff to capture the global leadership position as we partner with you in your journey across the country.
I've always been a proponent of being business native. AI is a tool much like cloud and mobility and mobile phone technology were in the historic times. nobody talks about mobile native or cloud native anymore, and so will AI, which is basically a tool or a mechanism, be. The real intention of corporates and startups and GCC should be on focusing on the business goals and how best a really good tool set like AI can deliver, rather than what can AI do for me. Our customers are typically looking at a perimeter level security, safety, sustainability, which is inside. But we are now helping our customers to truly achieve these goals even outside of the perimeter by providing them mobility solutions that cover at the same rank of sustainability and diversity the way they can do it within their perimeter.
Continuing the momentum, the event featured a showcase on unlocking GCC potential with secure, explainable AI. Let's take a look.
Scry offers you a suite of products. As the slide suggests, choose the best solution that fits your challenge. Auriga RTI, which is real-time intelligence, it basically scans global events, global news, and assesses direct or indirect impact for the news on your company, on your competitors, on any risks or any other factors that you want to track against.
Many companies today are investing heavily in building their own in-house AI solutions. And it's a bold step. They spent years of research just to reach the proof of concept. But here's the problem actually lies. As per the recent MIT study, almost 95% of the enterprise fails to deliver measurable outcome. As per the research, the common problems are poor integration with the existing workflows, misaligned priorities, and generic models lacking the domain knowledge. This is where Scry AI comes in. With our deep AI expertise, strong domain knowledge, and years of research and development, we select the right use case and focus on it from the very beginning. What companies often miss is the context, customization, and execution. And these are our strength. We make sure that our client go beyond the pilot and see the tangible results, and so that they can stay successful from day one in their AI journey.
All right, so with that, we now come to our final panel discussion of the day. So the conversation here is about beyond headcount. You're building skilled, engaged, and AI-ready teams for GCC 2030.
What are some of the top skills that you think will be needed for 2030, GCC of 2030? And why do you think they would be needed? How are you sort of looking at the roles in your organization, and how is it changing with AI coming in?
Certainly, AI is fundamentally changing roles across GCCs today. I think GCCs were seen earlier as cost and efficiency hubs, but today with AI, they are certainly transforming into business intelligence and innovation centers for us.
Things are changing, and we have to pivot every time when there are changes happening. So how are you doing that?
So you have two ways of looking at this when you are driving change in the marketplace, and at the same time how people adopt and move forward, no matter what the trend. It could be technology-based, it could be the way of working. So I think it's, first of all, driven by the authenticity of whatever the change is. So even if you haven't arrived, there isn't an end game. Communicating the process, telling people exactly where it is the first point of engagement. I think the second point of engagement is all of this must have a purpose. Where are you headed with this? Is there an end game that actually serves the wider community or the audience? And if you can anchor to that, then you will constantly engage people and they're going to come back.
How are you, as in your firm, investing in the leadership of, in the pipeline and in leadership roles, and not just doing what is needed to be done today?
As a team, we believed in one thing, is investing in the leadership development and talent is investing in the future. And I think with this belief and with consistent efforts on putting investments on the leadership and talent capabilities build up, over the years, we have seen what started with just a mere 200 people center about almost 2 decades back. Today, it's a thriving 9,000 plus great employees setup, and a mega powerhouse from the capabilities and from the leadership perspective.
I think it's important for talent to understand the journey of digital transformation. While you have the human touch and people doing the skill sets on a day-to-day basis and the function, our ability to get more productive through technology is the biggest piece. And what that means is that every person has to be digital literate, not just with trends, but also to be able to understand what's ahead, whether it's agentic AI or any other technology that's coming. So digital transformation will remain central for skill sets for people in the GCC continuously.
The event also witnessed an engaging ice-breaking session with mentalist and illusionist Kunal Newar, who captivated the crowd with his mind games and illusions. Up next, the event welcomed the chief guest address on Policy by Possibility, India's role in reinventing global capability.
The ambition and collaborative spirit I see here assure me that we are on the right path with the right momentum. Together, government, industry, academia and society, we are scripting a story that will inspire not just this generation, but generations to come. The chapters already written are remarkable. The chapters ahead, I am confident, will be even more inspiring, and together we will script them.
The event came to a close with a celebration of impactful GCCs of India, honoring organizations setting new benchmarks in innovation, talent and transformation.
Ladies and gentlemen, the first company, Amgen India, Bristol Myers Squibb, Carelon Global Solutions, Clean Harbors India, Electronic Arts. Next, ladies and gentlemen, Eli Lilly. And next, ladies and gentlemen, is Experience Services India, Franklin Templeton Corporate Center, HSBC Global Service Centers, Invesco India, Novartis Corporate Center India, PepsiCo India Capability Center. Next, ladies and gentlemen, Reckitt, Sandoz Global Competency Center. Moving forward, ladies and gentlemen, is Sonoco. We have Swiss Re Global Business Solutions. Next, ladies and gentlemen, Warner Brothers Discovery.